What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Junkmaro Garage. I have some good news and I got some bad news. Good news is we've reached over 100 subscribers. Yes! That is literally 100 more than I thought we were going to get. But anyways, if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button quick and that'd be awesome. Anywho, bad news now. I got some broken parts. It's not looking good. And by broken parts, I mean this. If you guys watched my last video, I said how I had to clean up the pistons and all that sort of fun stuff. Well, I cleaned them up and I found this. This would explain all my blow-by before when I had the engine together. Now, right in here, it's correct. And I found two other pistons that had cracks in the same spot. So, I went ahead and got some new pistons. Woo! And these ones are actually a little bit better. These are flat top pistons. So, that'll put my compression up a little bit compared to these old pistons which have a dish in them. So, yeah, a little bit more compression will help. Another thing, found another boo-boo. My Vortec heads that I was planning on using on this stroker, well, one head's bad. Found a crack in it. I'll go and show that to you right now. Alright, so as you guys saw from that picture, that head's a little on the toast side. So, what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be using the 305 heads that originally came with the Camaro. Doing that, putting that on the stroker will probably bump up the compression to like 11 to 1 or 12 to 1 with those flat top pistons I have. So she's going to be pretty stout. This isn't going to be like a full-blown race car or anything. This is going to be like a little fun weekend cruising car. So it's probably going to have a bunch of low-end power. Just a lot of low-end power, a lot of low-end torque. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to rev to the moon or anything. But I think with this engine combination, it should probably be good for right up about, right to 5,000 RPMs is my guess. Nothing crazy. So what we're going to do now, since this is part 2 of the stroker build, is we're going to get the pistons all put together. So, I already got one of these pistons all together, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Take old piston head off, put new one on. How you do it, so there's little clips in here. You just go take these out, and you pop, crap, I forgot what it's called. But this piece in here, you just take that out and you go pop the new head on, put the new, is it a retaining pin? I don't know. I think that's what it's called. Don't hold me to that. I don't know. Okay, just scratch that. So, I already got one of these bad boys put together. Pretty self-explanatory actually. Take old piston head off, put new piston head on. You just go take these little retaining clips out, pull that big old pin, wrist pin, whatever it's called out, and piston head comes off. You go put new one on, slide it back in, put new retaining clips in, and that's essentially it. And if you want to go crazy, bring these to a machine shop, get them balanced and all that fun stuff. But budget build, I'm not going to do it. It'll be alright. From Eagle, they say this stuff's already pre-balanced. But honestly, just go take it to a machine shop. If you're really that concerned with it. I'm not. So, anyways, I'm going to go finish these up real quick. Take the old piston heads off, put the new ones on. When you put these on, you want to make sure you put them on the right way. You just don't want to go slapping these things together all however way you want to. There's a certain way that the rod needs to go on the crank. Usually, you'll see that this rod will have a flat side right here. You want this flat side to be up against the other flat side of the other piston that's on the same crank journal or whatever it's called. And then there's a side that's like tapered in. You want that side facing outside up against the crank. So, see, two flat sides, you want them to go together like that. And you'll have these little notches for the bearings. These usually go at the bottom of the rods. Not all the rods though. Some of them, they go up. But like 95% of the time, they're down. See, here's that really, really bad piston. I literally just pulled this chunk out of it. And there it's all nice and broken. Yeah, I overheated this engine pretty badly once, and then after that it just had a crap ton of blow by, and I'm pretty sure this was the main culprit. So the rod though that it was on, doesn't look all that bad. Still looks pretty decent. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, rods are still good. Piston heads though, not so good. They're junk. That's really junk. Alright, so now that I got that old crappy piston head off, we're going to go throw this new good one on. What you're going to want to do, grab the old assembly lube. Just go and put a little in here. Oh. Just go and swish her around. There. Now that's all nice and lubed. Step 2, grab your new piston. Get this. Put some assembly lube on it. Pretty much cover the whole thing. Well, not whole thing, just the outside. And then grab your piston head. Grab your rod. Not that rod, you dirty bastard. Alright. Grab your rod. Line her up. Make sure the rod's the right way. You don't want an upside down rod. Just push her through. There. Like butter. Step 3.6. I don't know whatever step I'm on. Get these new clips. Get 2 of them. And you just go put them in here. I found out using these little bent needle nose pliers actually work pretty easy for getting these clips in. Grab your clip. Squeeze it in the middle. And hopefully it doesn't go flying. And you go just shove her in here. And that's that. See? Fill focus. Yeah, see? Just like that. Then you do it with the other side. This one in. Don't fly away. Don't fly away. There you go. There. Just make sure it's in its groove. And you're golden. See? All put together. Simple as that. But now I'm just going to go through the rest of them, do them real quick. And then I'll get back to you guys once this is all done. Alright, so at the end of this series, I'm going to be going over what makes this whole thing a budget and how much I actually spent on making this 383 stroker. So you guys have that to look forward to also. So I'm not going to leave you guys hanging on how cheap I am. Alright, so I got all these put together. And look how nifty they look. Frickin' mint. But now, next step, is get the rings gapped for these pistons. And I'll go and show you guys how to do that. Alright, let's go open this up quick. And flop. Alright, so got your oil rings, your second compression ring, and top compression ring. Yeah, and yeah, more oil stuff. But yeah, we'll go open these up, get them all gapped and such. These are what the rings look like, you know, pretty standard rings. These were the $20 rings off of Summit, but they had good reviews and everything, so yeah, for 20 bucks, I'd say this is a pretty decent deal. Alright, now I'll show you guys pretty much how you go and figure out what your ring gap is. Step one, put your ring in the cylinder bore. Easier said than done with one hand. Okay, so I got that in. This is the bottom compression ring. The bottom ring and the top compression ring both need to be gapped differently. They can't be the same. And I'll go and I'll post a picture from Speed Pro's website on what they think your gap should be depending on your race or your engine application. Post that right now. Alright, so now that you guys saw that and what the gap should be, next step is to get the ring flush. And what you do to do that, or what you have to do to do that, is you grab your piston and you just push her in. Oh, come on. Like I said, kind of hard to do with one hand. There you go. There you go. And you just push it in about halfway. Oh, we're going to go a little more. There. See? That's good. And there is the gap. All nice and even and flush and everything. Next step is get your feeler gauge. You see what size you're working with. I'm going to start with 0.02. Let's see how we're looking for that. She slides in. That slides in, so I'm going to try one size bigger. So I went and I put every single, second ring in, and I went and I measured them. So far, all these are good on this side. I'm not adding nitrous or anything like that. This is just going to be a naturally aspirated, carbureted, basic engine. I'm not going to throw any power adders at her. So I've just been putting the 0.022 feeler gauge in there, and if it goes in good, then I just say it's good. But if it's a little tight or it doesn't go in at all, I got to go and file the ring down a little bit. And this one was a little tight. So pretty much what you do is you grab a little file and you just kind of take a little bit off the end of one of the sides. And then you go in and just remeasure it. It's just that easy. Alright, so I took the old hand grinder to this side, because this side of the rings were a little on the tighter side, so I just wanted to loosen them up a little bit. So all these gaps are now gapped to over 0.022. Now for the top ones, it's kind of the same thing. You just kind of want to keep the rings that you put these in the same cylinders though, or else you might get a bad time. But top ones are going to be top ones are going to be a little bit tighter. So just keep that in mind. But I'm going to go do that quick, and then once I'm done with that, we're going to go and throw these rings onto the pistons. Okay, first step into getting the rings on the piston is putting your oil ring on. See? Bam. Pretty easy. It just goes on right like there. Blech. I cannot talk today. It just goes on just like that. And then you get the, crap. Then you get like the little retaining rings that hold it in place on. These are also pretty easy to get on. They're pretty thin, so they just kind of bend super easily, and I got it in the wrong side. Hold on. Okay, come on. Don't fight me. There. You just gotta work it in. And then you grab the other one. Do the same thing. Put one above and one below the oil ring. Come on. And it's a pain. There. See? Simple as that. Next, you got to do the second compression ring right here. This one is the one that I gapped first. This one's gap's going to be a little bit wider than the top one. I don't know if I explained that before because it's a couple days later now. So you can either get a tool and use this, or you could be like me and just manhandle it. There we go. There. See? And there you go. And I'm going to put the gap at the 6 o'clock position because you don't want the gaps to be in the same spot because then you might lose compression. Now, look at the top ring. Let's stick this on. Just go and kind of manhandle it on. See? It's just that easy. See? Beautiful. So now we actually get to the fun part, and that is installing the pistons. And it's pretty easy, actually. Right now we're lined up with number 2, so I'm going to grab number 2. And what I like to do is grab the old assembly lube that smells like grandma's house. Take your assembly lube and you just go and put a layer in the cylinder. Alright, so what I do now is I go and I grab my my bearing. I just go and stick it in place. Yeah, like that. And then go put the cylinder in. Then use my fancy schmancy ring compressor that I got from 10 bucks at AutoZone. Alright, so now that you got your ring compressor on there, as tight as it can go, because with these cheap ones, you gotta like make sure it's snug, like super snug. Because the little tool that they give you is like this big, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. So, what you do now, make sure it's nice and even. Oh, and a lot of rods will actually have like bolts or studs coming through here. Make sure those are covered up, because you don't want that to go and damage your cylinder walls or your crank or any of that fun stuff. But yeah, go through your bearing on, then go and sender on home. Now go home. In your home you go. Oh. Why? Alright, so back to attempt number 864. Go tap your ring compressor tool so it's flush with the block. You don't want the ring to slip out. So line it up. There. Looks flush to me. Then you go. Get her in! Finally! For the love of freaking God, it's in. Not gonna lie, I tried this a bunch of other times before while you guys weren't looking. Then you go and make sure the bearing's still there. Yep, I'm filling it with my hands. So you just go give her a little tappy taps. Happy tappy taps. Bring her all the way down. To the crank. There, just that easy. Alright, so now that this is all the way down to the crank and everything, you want to get your plastic gauge like I used before on the crank when I was measuring it. but you do this right here just to make sure everything's all hunky-dory. Okay, so I got the connecting rod and the piston in, and I got it all kind of bolted into place. So I could not find my plastic gauge anywhere. And since it's 5 o'clock in the morning and nowhere is open, I'm just going to put it together. I think it's good. But yeah, so pretty much you want to go and crank these down to about, well, 245 foot-pounds. And come on, click. Oh, I'll just go to this side now. Quick. Actually, go tighten this up a little bit. There we go. And then give her some cranks. Come on. Click already. Oh, there it goes. See? Hear it? 45 foot-pounds. Then we'll go back to this one. There we go. 45 foot-pounds. Alright, but yeah, see, putting in a piston is just that fun and easy. Wasn't really that easy because that crappy ring compressor I have just is a pain in the ass to use. Oh, and so I just noticed this. When you're stroking out a 350, you're going to want to make some clearance right along here. Because with the longer stroke, the piston rods and all that fun stuff get closer to the edge of this. And here, I'll go and I'll try turning it over quick so I can show you guys. Oh, and as you're putting this together, make sure that when you do, everything just still turns without any binding up or anything. See? See, this is still turning over. Actually, pretty good. Hold on, if I can get it to turn. Because now it's just wanting to thread in. Oh, let's see. And there we go. Cleaned it up a little bit. There we go. See? Right in there. It would get pretty close if I didn't go and grind that down a bit. What I did is I went and I got these little... I don't even remember what these things are called. But you can get them at like Harbor Freight and stuff like that. And you just go through here. Go and make all the clearance you need. So far the ones from Harbor Freight, they work pretty good in my opinion. Just don't mind my ugly job doing this. But yeah, no, that's tight. You go and repeat the process on all the other cylinders. And that's what I'm going to do right now. And then once I'm done with that, I'll get back to you guys. And there we are. All the pistons are in place now. They're all torqued to spec and all that fun dandy stuff. Overall, the process took about, I don't know, an hour to do for all 8. It's not that hard. Just the hardest part about it is this stupid crappy ring compressor from AutoZone that's cheap and crappy. But, you know, like if you're like me and you're on a budget, it'll work. But overall, there's short blocks all put together. I still got to put in the cam and all that sort of fun crap. Since my Vortec heads are junk, I'm going to be using a different cam that's not as aggressive. I've used this cam before. Like, it's still used and everything, but it's a decent cam. It's a hydraulic roller. It's got, I don't know, I think around 470 lift in there. It's one of those ones that you can get off Jegs. I'm going to call that good for this episode. I'll have part 3, I guess, coming out in a little bit. So I'm going to try to get this engine done as quickly as possible. In the next episode, we'll be putting in the new cam and bolting on the heads, intake, carburetor, and oil pan. And then it should be all set to get dropped into the car. Alright, make sure to hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button too. And my chickens are starting to escape, so I gotta go. See you guys.